Uh, I think Wildwood might have just reinvented the toy hauler, guys. Wait, this is cool. Wait till you see this thing.
So first of all, welcome to Wildwood RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and if there is one thing I love, it's being the first to bring you something new and something exciting, and I think that's exactly what we have here today. Wildwood is a brand that I really respect for the fact that they're willing to think outside the box. They're willing to redefine things, try stuff that's new. So what they did here is they started off with an already popular model. This is the 270RTK FSX Max, which if you're not familiar with what all this is, it's a no slide and at its heart, certainly still a toy hauler. But what they did here is the Max series is built extra tall inside from the rest of the Wildwoods. It's got a full 7-foot interior, and they sized this thing so that even though it's only still a standard 8-foot wide body, it's just big enough you can actually squeeze like 4-seater side-by-side, like Razor 1000 in this thing. And they've provided evidence of doing that because one of the guys who works there actually has one of those and loaded one up. But what they did, what you're seeing here, is they said, what if it wasn't just a toy hauler? What if we could make it a bunkhouse? What if we could make it something more than just the same, like, hey, yeah, it's got a power bed lift system in the back. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think this is very cool. I think it's very exciting. I would be very interested to know all the feedback you're willing to leave on this RV. What do you think of this crazy new arrangement that they have back here? Does the bunk setup make sense? Would you consider using it instead of bunks, just like a sofa below and almost like just shelving above? Would you leave it, like use it as a toy hauler? Would you convert this into some kind of craft room or office with this wacky configuration? Like, I'm really curious to see who ends up taking this thing home, because normally this is a layout that only a couple tends to purchase, and maybe we'll have the grandkids over every now and then or something like that. I could see this legitimately functioning for a family who loves the idea of reduced weight, but you know, doesn't want to slide, wants no slide simplicity, but is in love with that patio aspect that this thing has. This is what is this thing?
Oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized what this is. It's not a bunkhouse. It's not a toy hauler. It's a crossover.
Hello everyone, welcome to the field here where we are pre-recorded at Wildwood RV of Coldwater, Michigan. I am Josh, the RV Nerd, Senior RV Field Analyst, where reports are coming in that we have in fact received a second copy of this camper with the Platinum Fiberglass Skin upgrade and a revised interior. Rather than asking you to bounce between two videos today, we are going to just simply be able to put it all into one Franken camper as I splice together a bunch of Franken footage and stitch this thing all. This is going to be a trick. So if you can, as we go through, leave me some notes, leave me some comments, let me know both ways. Most of this video is going to be a stick and tin version with that very cool new interior bunk system, but you're going to get to see that's not the only way that you have to take one of these today. Now, the first thing I want to make mention of here is that, like, the power happi-jac bed sofa lift kind of thing, that is still the standard default arrangement in this. What we're looking at here, these almost like, call it like toy hauler quad bunk conversion kits right here. These are an option that you can apply to this. But what I love is, again, how it totally transforms, at least in my view, the potential use and function of this. Because instead of 2 big beds, we now have 4 individual beds, which I think if you're going to be doing some like buddy camping or something like that, or frankly, if you've got a lot of kids, you know, they just do better when they have their own individual sleeping spaces. And then, as dumb as it sounds, just the simplicity of that privacy curtain up there, sometimes it doesn't have to be a major shift left of center to just be really smart, really effective, because it totally, at least when the ramp gate's not closed down like it is currently, it totally transforms this, in a sense, into like a true private space. But they made sure that they at least had an air conditioning duct back here so that, you know, when you are camping in the hot summertime, whether you got those cross breeze windows open or whether you got the AC pumping back here, you know, it stays comfortable. And then when you're not using them, it's still just converts effectively into like a 6 adult size super Dinofa back here. What's kind of cool though is instead of the table becoming the center support for the bottom sleeper, the table is well left to be just a table, which is kind of nice because like if it is time to say like put the kids down or your friends want to crash or something like that and you're using the table outside for picnic time, you don't have to like, you know, take everything off of it to let your buddy or your kids sleep. It's just, they can just go lay down when they're ready. But something I really pride myself on is always trying to give you what I call the real deal Evander Holyfield over here. If, like these are all free floating cushions. So if you're going to flip these custom crafted sofa, bunk, bed, lounge, converted Dinofa jobs, which is obviously a technical term. Don't try this at home, guys. You're gonna have to move the cushions. Now, when you're traveling, frankly, I would just pile them up on the bed up front and bring them back when you need them. Depending on how you're gonna camp, maybe you just only are ever gonna use 1 or 2. And under both of those benches, did you notice you have all this tote space right here? That's another thing that I like about this that I think really kind of speaks to its ability as, I'm gonna not call it a toy hauler, I'm gonna call it a crossover, because it can be a toy hauler, it could be a bunkhouse, it could be a couples rig, it could be a solo fly-by-night job. You could convert this into your kennel space. You could use this as a mobile dog grooming service trailer or something like that. I mean, frankly, I think the only limit with this one is just what can you think of yourself. Notice that you've got your tie downs all the way up to the front there. And something I can tell you guys, I mean, there's in any sort of toy hauler application, there's like 1,000 million billion different measurements. Hey, what's the measurement from here to there to everywhere? I can't possibly predict what every single person's going to need. What I have to ask of you is if you're like, hey, I've got a such and such kind of thing. It has these dimensions. Will it fit in that? We will absolutely. One of our team members will come out and hand measure all that for you, whatever you need. There's just no way I could sit here and just turn this into me reading off a spec sheet and expect people to watch it. I wouldn't listen to myself talk about specs for that long. What actually surprised me, though, this has a pretty good kitchen, but there's some other really smart features here. Like you got the handy-dandy little shoe garage down there. We're going to call that the belly warmer. The electric space heat and Tootsie Toaster is up a little high, but it's nice for some bonus heat without eating up your propane when you're park camping. If you add some TV entertainment action, that's what that big kind of open alcove there would be. And again, with this being 7 foot tall, it's just so wide open in here. Good outlets where you need them. That is a big farm sink, by the way. And I love this. Oh, I love this. It reminds me of a motorhome. I've been wanting more trailers to do this. I understand it has limitations. I personally love a stovetop plus microwave combo. That is something I think is really, really cool. And in case you're curious, yes, that is a convection oven. Now, obviously, if you're boondocking, short of having like a portable inverter generator, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. I recognize that it has potential hiccup points there. And something that you didn't see when I had all the cabinetry open, because it's just not gas strutted, is, holy crap, Batman, we got a bat cave up there. I mean, that's bigger than my little dog's kennel for travel. Now, I'm definitely not recommending, by the way, you put a dog up there for travel. Definitely not. And then, over here on the door side, remember you've got the like individual bunk windows, but you've just got this gigantic panoramic window over here overlooking the door side of your RV. It's a no-slide camper, but it just feels anything but small. Like, to me, it's almost funny. They added that skylight in the ceiling back here as if it needed to feel any larger. And something you're going to get to see several times in this video is, little interruptions where I have little updates for you or show you an A-B comparison. For instance, if you're looking at this, you might notice this kitchen has already been slightly rearranged from when I first shot this footage. A couple days later, a second copy of this came in, and I actually like what they did. That big giant storage cubby that was really hard to reach, they brought it down lower to the ground where, it's a little simpler to get to. Now, That does mean that the freezer is now a little bit higher, but it's not near as deep. You don't have to go armpit deep to get up in that thing. I think overall, this is a little bit better arrangement. This is how they're going to look moving forward. So I get that we just got to see a whole big kitchen segment on this thing, and now I'm telling you it's already been overruled, but it's really not that big of an update. I like it. What do you think about it? New kitchen or old kitchen? Leave me like a little note or something. Now the bathroom and bedroom are actually fairly straightforward as far as Wildwoods go, but that's not a knock against them. They do this all day long. They do it very well. But remember, with that taller ceiling, like I'm 6'3" for reference. That's me standing in the shower with shoes and a hat. I don't have the greatest vertical leap. I could jump and hit my head on the ceiling, but it would take a little bit of effort inside that 30 by 36 shower over there. And down below here, I try to be fair. Like, there's excellent legroom around this, but take a look at my right elbow in the little pop-up picture right there. The toilet is a little bit close to the wall for righties. You might ask why, because, why didn't they just shift it over? There's lots of room in here. If I had to guess, I suspect there's a floor stud exactly in the way of where you would prefer to have that toilet, and they opted for structural integrity over maybe toilet comfort. I mean, that's a tricky argument. That's a tricky balance. I just want you to know what you're getting into here before you buy this thing sight unseen. Then you sit down on the pot the first time and go, oh, crap, we got a problem. Now, I wanted to give you a really abnormally long look at the area under the bed here. Because this RV has a camp kitchen under the bed up front, which is highly irregular, I know, but also kind of cool because it's a neat feature that really, I think, lends itself to this floor plan, but there's not really anywhere else to put it. So it doesn't have a full pass-through, and I'm bumping the camera on a door handle. Sorry about the lurching there. So if you can't reach something from there, remember that inside you can always lift this bed up and get to it. And as I'm dropping this bed down, take note of these, what I'm going to call quad dresser cubes right here. Because this RV, you'll see like nice shoe garage below, and we're going to call that the dresser. It doesn't really have other space for like folded clothes in here, at least not that you can see obviously right now. If we pan around here a little bit, over this direction, you see there's this big door. This is actually kind of what's behind the shower. If we take a look at that and open that up right there, you see that is like a floor-to-ceiling dresser space, which is very uncommon, but also very cool. So there is, again, a surprising amount of storage in here. And where I think these are really important is, again, if you're going to use this as a bunkhouse, each one of those can belong to one of the people on the bunks, That's just little handy-dandy stuff like that. Now, this is a Camp Queen bed. This is 60 by 74. I always try to give you that info where I can. But, folks, there's way more than enough room if you wanted to put a true queen in here. And if I rotate you around, I'm going to try to do it slowly to not make you motion sick. You see this guy over here. This RV that we're looking at today is outfitted with their optional extended dry camp package. We have ourselves a 30 amp Go Power charge controller. It is a PMW type controller, which means it is not the most compatible with lithium batteries. So if you're planning on some serious off-grid action, you may want to swap that out for like a MPPT type controller. And if you don't know what any of that stuff means, give us a call here at Haylett RV. We can help walk you through a little bit of that and make sure we're getting the right RV with the right equipment for your intended needs. Now, I always like to try to close things up and show them in what I call road mode, but usually that means closing up the slides. This is a no-slide camper, but it does have a very flex function space back here. We've seen it as a bunkhouse, we've seen it as a living room, and now we get to see it as a garage. And once again, that's what I think is very cool about these, is the way that it's one RV that can do just about anything. And again, with a full 7-foot interior height, and a very carefully measured like kitchen countertop and wall arrangement, this can fit a Razor 4-seater side-by-side in here. Don't get me wrong, it's tight getting in and out, but this is about the smallest camper you can find where you can actually load a big side-by-side like that. And just in case you're curious, that interesting little quad bunk system we were looking at, you don't have to get that. That is an optional thing that you can apply to these. What we're looking at here is the standard arrangement, where you just have like the 6-person party bench and the free-floating table below. That can, again, fold down into a couple different sleeper configurations. I like kind of putting the angle wedges in the middle. It creates a little bit of a separated sleeping space. You know, but you can use it for dining, you can use it for loading, sleeping, whatever works for you. If you just want just a simple, big, basic, wide open space where you can load tall stuff or just enjoy some extra headroom, you have this default arrangement. You have the bunk arrangement. I believe there's also the, I think you can get a happi-jac power bed lift system in one of these. And I'd really like to know of like all those different ways to go. Leave me a comment, let me know which way would you go with given the opportunity. And is it just me, or does it sort of look like Lionel Richie was dancing on the ceiling back here? I know it looks, you're like, why is there a footprint on the wall? That's the rear ramp door. Remember, when that ramp closes, it becomes your rear wall. Occasionally, you're gonna see a footprint back there. I just don't often have toy haulers displayed with the ramp door closed. And if I'm thinking back, because I've slept a few times and not slept a few times since I first recorded this footage, I think the way that I phrased something may have insinuated that those privacy curtains back here are only included on that quad bunk upgrade. That is not the case. Those are standard issue. So even if you just have just the 2 benches back here, the floating table, nothing overhead, no happi-jac, no floppy job quad bunks, you still can have those privacy curtains back here. So it still has a little bit more of a sectionalized kind of sleeping situation, if you even have guests. So let's talk towability right here. I wanted to talk about that in my intro, but I realized I had already been yakking for like 2 minutes, and I really needed to get moving here. Yeah, so leave it to me to say, let's talk towability, and then just completely space and totally forget whatsoever to talk about vehicle capacity here. What I wanted to say is, you hear 5,700 pounds, you hear no slide. That really sounds half-ton towable. This thing has like 4,100 pounds of available cargo capacity, which is like, that's a ton. You go max loading this thing, you got heavy stuff you're putting in it. I don't feel right saying something that is high off the ground, really tall outside, and potentially almost 10,000 pounds. I don't feel right necessarily calling that a half-ton towable at all. So the question really becomes, how are you going to use it? If you're going to use it like a toy hauler and put heavy stuff in it, I really think you should be having a 3/4 ton truck for this trailer. If you're going to use it as just a common class bunkhouse and you're not putting 3,000 pounds of stuff in it, maybe a half-ton will work. It's really going to depend on what you're doing, how you're camping. Are you towing through elevations where a gas, half-ton motor loses a lot of horsepower at elevation or something like that? Those are the questions we like to get to know when we get to meet you here at Haylett RV. It's getting that deeper understanding of someone to make sure that your safety comes before the sale and we're getting your second RV the first time. So enough of me yakking. Let's get back to it. This is a standard body. It's 8 foot wide. Now it's a little bit taller than the average bear to be able to give you that 7-foot ceiling inside here. And if you're noticing, it rides on a bigger chassis, which is why this thing looks like it really hangs up off the ground quite a ways. In a way, I really actually like that it doesn't have any kind of fancy fender skirting around the tires. I get that stuff can look cool, but I could see this unit getting off the beaten path a little bit, and I want as little as possible down here, potentially able to get grabbed a hold of by whatever terrain or bushes or branches I might be going by. I kind of like the simplicity, the function first look of this thing. And just like when we first debuted this last year, they offer the little camp kitchen right here. We got a lot of feedback from a lot of people who were wondering, is that an option or is that standard? At the time this first came out, it was standard. I have not yet had a chance to review the build sheet on this to see if it is now standard or optional, but I suppose, why not? I'll ask your feedback again. Would you like to see this with a camp kitchen as an option? Do you like it standard? It does kind of get into the pass-through cavity a little bit, but you can get to it from the inside. You can get to it from the opposite side pretty darn easily. Our patio space under the awning is not too bad. Plus, look at the window coverage on this thing. It's crazy bananas. If you ever forget how to spell it, all you got to do is remember that Gwen Stefani song. Bananas. Oh, you're not really seeing it here, but just behind that rear awning arm up on the roof, there is a solar panel up there, and you saw the charge controller in the bedroom. Basically what they're calling this here is an extended dry camp package, and I really commend them for using phrasing like that and not saying like boondock package, because I think that sets the wrong impression. Now the lights don't look terribly impressive because we're outside and there's tons of light pollution coming in through the camera, so it's darkening inside that, almost like a cave. But I don't have a battery on this RV. That's just the solar package running all of those lights right now. Now, something I didn't mention earlier, but you kind of saw in road mode, is how this has that it's actually a magnetic screen wall that clips onto the rear frame of the toy hauler gate, basically. Personally, I like those. I like those so much better than those tent-style roll-up jobs. They are so much faster and easier to put up and down. That's how I feel. And the magnets on those are no joke. It's not like you're going to bump it and it's going to fall down. I swear those things are industrial grade. Something else I want to point out here, you don't really get a good understanding of it because we have the gate down right now, but this is using a positive latch system that can actually be individually key locked and padlocked. So what that does is it gives you two opportunities for security back here, not only just for your toys that you're loading in this, but again, considering this could very well function as a bunkhouse. I think that, you know, more security is better here. A couple utility features for you. We have a black tank flush just to the right of the water heater. We have a full hot-cold outside utility shower just to the left of the power hookup. And we have a simple little cold water sprayer hose. You might go, why do I have that and a shower? Basically because with that little nozzle head, you can get higher pressure and you can really clean your stuff off. And here's the thing too, if this RV is riding a bit high for you, you can actually lower it down a little bit. That is a surprisingly easy adjustment. If that's something you'd like us to do for you at Haylett RV before you take it home, it's really not a big deal. But one of the things that's nice about that extra ground clearance is it means that our sewer stuff is just in no danger of getting caught and yanked or ripped or anything like that. Now again, with that outside camp kitchen, we do lose a full pass-through storage, but you do have in here just a giant cavity. Look at this thing over here. And crap on a spatula. I forgot to put on those little hubcaps. Son of a gun. I knew I'd do something stupid like that. Why did you guys let me do that? Why, before you knew I was even going to publish this video, didn't you write me a note and be like, hey, Uncle Josh, don't forget that, you dingbat. Oh, man. Oh, you know what else? I forgot to talk. The new graphics package. What do you think about that? Basically, instead of the old red stripe generation, which always sounds like someone's drinking a beer to me, the old red stripe stuff. Remember those commercials like, yay, beer? Like, that's all they said. And somehow you're like, yeah, that makes sense, man. And like the other Wildwoods, down here, oops, I hit the selfie video button. I don't think me squatting down is what you're looking for down here. I mean, I'm just guessing you would probably rather learn about the enclosed accessibelly under this thing instead of looking at me talking about it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the next big thing. What I like about that is it's just like the bigger Wildwoods. Those are like sectionalized panels. So first of all, they're just way more impact resistant than a common corrugated underbelly. Secondly, they're far more serviceable. Let's just say for whatever reason, you did have to get into that underbelly to check on something. That panel, or one of the panels, or some of them, or all of them, can be individually dropped. The service work can be done, and then you can put the panels back up, and there's no symptom anything was ever done to it. A normal corrugated underbelly, about the only way to really work on that is often you just have to take a shop razor and cut an access panel, and then frankly, about all you can do is duct tape it back in place. And Lord almighty, that sounds like something that's been hillbilly jerry-rigged, and it's not how I would want my trailer to be worked on, you know? And again, I think it's a really cool opportunity that we get to see this one two ways today. Now, we've already pretty much learned about the trailer in terms of all its features and equipment, so I figured this would be a really cool opportunity to really just kind of focus in and showcase what the Platinum package is and what it is not. Now, you may have noticed I just flashed a second set of specs up there on the screen. If you compare those to earlier in the video, you'll see that they are nearly identical. The only thing that changes is you actually add a little bit of weight in the Platinum package, and it's explaining those kind of things that I'm going to try to demystify some of this as we go here. You might notice it's got a little more weight, a little less cargo capacity, although this thing obviously has like what, over 4,000 pounds of base cargo capacity. It had some room to spare. And you're going, why? Why when I go to a fiberglass skin package have I gained more weight? Because that is all Platinum is. Platinum is only fiberglass. It's not like a Cherokee Black Label where there's a bunch of equipment that goes with it. Wildwood gives you the option of doing just fiberglass and then various equipment items a la carte, typically, like that crazy bunk system. So usually fiberglass means less weight. Why does this one weigh more? And the answer is because we haven't changed to a laminated aluminum structure. This is still a stick-built camper, and that's one of the biggest things that I want to make clear on this. Like I can sit here and say, oh boy, it's awesome, and it looks clean, it looks great. The fiberglass skin will be more impact resistant if like you live in hail country. It cleans easier. There's a lot of really sweet benefits to it. But what's happening here is all we've done is swapped out the corrugated aluminum skin for a fiberglass skin that is actually laminated to a dual-leaved Luan backer. What that basically means is that there's full-length trailer sheets of 3/8 plywood wrapped around this thing. That's one of the reasons it has better impact resistance. It has like an armor-style skin now. The nose is still an extra thick aluminum suite, by the way. So like that diamond plate is 67% thicker than the conventional sidewall corrugated skin. The rest of that smooth skin up front here is the exact same thickness. The whole front of this trailer is effectively wind buffet resistant diamond plate. Just the bottom area is the only part you actually see diamond plate. And I'm just kind of keen into the fact they really raised that diamond plate up on these. You got the bigger, high aggressive profile tires that are more inclined to throw stones. And you've got a little more ding resistance there. But that's all Platinum is. It's only fiberglass. It adds a couple £100, adds a couple $100, adds one heck of a look. It makes it easier to clean the RV. Again, the only downside is it weighs a little more, costs a little more. So which one would you rather have? That sounds like a Capital One commercial. What's in your wallet? So like I said, any feedback you're willing to offer, good, bad, ugly, in between, whatever you're willing to share, I will do my best to try to answer for you or put some logic to it the best I can. I don't work for Wildwood, so I can't speak for them. But if you're curious about something, let me know. If there's something you like to see change, let me know how you would use that rear room. Again, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this thing. And if you like seeing these kind of first-of-a-kind things like this, if you haven't done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button to follow along because I've got some other really cool surprises in for you yet this year. Some things I don't think you're going to want to miss, not just in this class, but in several different classes right here. So as always, remember, we don't do hidden dealer fees. We're family-owned and operated. And when you're ready, we're ready, man. So take care. Stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylet camping, everyone.